Hi, welcome to Live with Sujay, headliners of Hope. And it is my excitement and delight to have you join us today and every day that you join us. This day, we are so excited to have with us Father Constantine Lazarakis.
Hi, Sujay.
How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. It's been a long time.
It has.
And it's so nice to be reunited with an old friend. How are you?
I'm fine. It always seems like even though there's time and lapse in between, but when we're together, it's always so warm and welcoming. So I first met you through your father-in-law.
Father Alex Carlutzis.
Oh,
That's
yes.
right.
And so I was the U.S. Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom, and he and His Eminence came to the White House. And I said, do you have any women in the Greek Orthodox Church? And we started a conversation.
So funny.
And now we're friends. We're living in the same community. Who would know?
I remember that first time we had lunch. I want to say, I don't remember the spot, but I remember really distinctly sitting down and talking with you all those years ago.
All those years ago.
And that was way back in the Obama administration.
Exactly. That was 2011. Can you believe? So
I can't. Time flies. Look at my beard.
I know. Look at all of us. I mean, it's a few years.
Yeah.
But, it's such a delight to see you. And we have some pictures of the parish that you lead.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us the name of it, the full name.
So it's the Dormition of the Virgin Mary Greek Orthodox Church. It's in Southampton, New York.
Southampton. So that's the outside of it, which is so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's built in the traditional style of a Byzantine Christian church, and I just feel so honored and privileged to serve in such a physically beautiful place with such a spiritually beautiful congregation.
And so we have a couple of pictures of the congregation and the inside of the church, because look how gorgeous that is.
So that's a picture of the Easter morning divine liturgy. So you see that there's leaves and flower petals all over, because in celebration of the resurrection, what the priest does on that day is he comes out and he throws the leaves and the flowers everywhere, and they ring the bells and everybody sings. It's a beautiful and kind of crazy church service that we do on Holy Saturday morning in anticipation of Easter.
Okay, and then we have one with the congregation inside.
Yeah, and that was this Palm Sunday.
Oh my goodness!
There,
so the Greek Orthodox Easter is a week after what we call our Easter.
Well, it's not. It's a very difficult thing to understand and explain. But basically, the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church and the rest of Western Christianity have a different method by which they calculate the date of Easter.
Okay.
So it changes. Sometimes they fall on the same day as they did this year. Other days they might be as much as 4 weeks apart, and it kind of fluctuates.
Got it.
So and
it doesn't have anything to do also with Passover, or that does.
It does have to do with Passover, and I have read so many treatises on why it's different, and to be honest, I still don't completely understand it. But what I do know is that it's actually about how the Orthodox Church calculates the date of Passover, as opposed to how the Catholic Church calculates the date of Passover.
Got it.
Over the years, the calendars have changed, and our understanding of how the moon cycles work have changed. So there have been different methods throughout history of calculating Passover.
Yes.
The Orthodox Church has latched onto one method, and Western Christian churches have latched onto another method.
So now you have an ecumenical patriarch, and then the Catholic Church has the Holy Father or the Pope.
Correctamundo.
Is there a difference, and what is that?
Sure. So there is a difference. So in the Roman Catholic tradition, the Pope has certain executive prerogatives that the Ecumenical Patriarch does not have.
Okay.
So those include a claim of infallibility and universal jurisdiction.
Okay.
So there's no one in the Orthodox Church that has a claim of infallibility.
Okay.
And there's no one in the Orthodox Church that has universal jurisdiction over the entire church. But the Ecumenical Patriarch in Constantinople does have some executive prerogative. He's the global spokesperson for the church. He convenes a council when the church needs to meet and resolve something that will be globally binding. He can resolve conflicts between other independent churches.
Okay.
So he does have certain executive prerogatives.
Okay.
He holds the title first among equals.
Yes.
But he doesn't have universal jurisdiction, and he doesn't have a claim of infallibility.
So I sat with the Ecumenical Patriarch when I was in the Obama administration in Istanbul.
Yeah, Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew is an extraordinary, he is an extraordinary religious leader, and he
And has a great sense of humor. We ate lamb chops or whatever that body of water is.
Yeah.
And he was just so comical. So tell me, because people think a priest only does lead services, but you have a family, you
Correct.
have things that you do. I understand you're a creative writer and a poet.
I do like to write a little bit, and I
Okay.
do try. I don't know if I'd call myself a poet,
But you like poetry.
but I do like to read, and I like to read poetry, and I make my own feeble attempts at writing poetry. Sure.
So what else do you do for fun? I mean, you're a husband, you're
Oh
a
my gosh.
father. Tell us what you do for fun.
Yeah. So what I do for fun? Well, I have a lot of fun with my kids and my wife. You know, I
Mhm.
like being a dad. I like being a husband.
Yes.
And we got a cool family. We have a couple of dogs.
Mhm.
A couple of 3 dogs actually.
Oh,
So I
wow.
love playing with my dogs and
Mhm.
walking them. I like to ride my bike.
And now you're in transition. You have two children, twins who are going away to college in the fall. How does it feel? I mean, they've been your life. How does it feel with the transition? Are you going to be able to make it?
I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I keep telling them just go to Stony Brook and stay home, but they won't listen to me. They're going off to their own,
Yes.
worlds.
Mhm.
But we're proud of them, so it's a
Yeah.
mixed bag because you're so happy for them and so proud of them, and yet
And you'll miss them.
I'm going to miss them a lot. I'm really close with my kids, and
I
I
am
have a
too.
lot.
Mine are grown now. Look, the thing is, there are transitions. There are many transitions. So now that they're grown, I say I have to learn how to mother and not smother,
That's right.
and give them space to do all the things we trained them to do.
So I tell you something. My uncle Ike, he's also a priest. This is my mother-in-law's brother,
Okay.
Father Cosmas Karavelis, who's down at the church, the Greek Orthodox Church in Annapolis, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
He said to me, as a parent, right?
Yes.
He said, you have to go through stages. He
Yes.
says, so in the beginning, you control and protect.
Yes.
He
Yes.
says, and then after you're done with the controlling phase, you go into the guiding phase. And then after the guiding phase, you go into the coaching phase,
Yes.
which is the phase I'm just finishing up now.
Yes.
And then after you're done with the coaching phase, you're a consultant. It's adult to adult.
Yes.
You love them, you're always their parent, and you want them to do well, but you have to
Give them some space.
respect their prerogative. You have to
Yeah.
respect their not their personhood, because they're people from the moment they're conceived, but
Mhm.
their personhood in that you have to respect their agency as adults.
And they'll make choices that they will have to live with, but then we've guided them, we've coached them, we've guarded them, we've protected them.
My dad was a funny old Greek man. He was fresh off the boat. I
Mhm.
mean, and he spoke with this really thick accent, but he used to say to me, Kostaik was my nickname for
Okay.
my dad, like short for
Uh-huh.
Constantine. He said, Kostaiki, I have to tell you, that way when you make a mistake, you say, my daddy told me. Because if I don't tell you
Yes.
and you make the mistake, it's my fault. But if I do tell you and you make the mistake, that it's your fault.
I love it.
I love that about my
Yes.
dad, because he wouldn't abdicate the responsibility of the father,
Right.
but he never took the responsibility for my decisions.
Yes.
I had to own my decisions, and that meant that I owned my mistakes,
Yes.
and I paid the consequences for them, but it also meant that I owned my successes.
Yes.
And so you have to give that gift. At some point, you have to make that transition as a parent where you give the gift of freedom.
Exactly.
At
Very
some
much
point,
so.
you can't have them have freedom, otherwise they're falling off cliffs and burning their hands.
Exactly.
At another point, you have to give them that gift of freedom so that they can stand on their own 2 feet.
And they do come back. I mean, the Bible talks about train up a child in the way he or she should go, and they'll come back.
That's
So
right.
my son's grown now. They do call, and you have to just guide and listen to whether they want advice or they just want somebody to listen. And
That's right.
you kind of just weigh it. But I read that you were raised in Salt Lake City. Is
True.
that correct? So now we know that as Mormon country, but is there a Greek Orthodox community there?
So there's a big Greek Orthodox community in Salt Lake City. One of the things that's very interesting about growing up, Salt Lake, first of all, is a beautiful place.
Oh, it's beautiful. I've gone
The
there.
mountains are amazing. The
Yes.
town is fun. And, people think it's really podunk, but it's really a very cultured town. They have an amazing ballet company, amazing theater companies.
Yeah, the arts are
And even more so now than when I was a kid, the culinary stuff in Salt Lake. There's great food. I mean, it's not Manhattan. Nothing is.
Right.
But there's great sushi. There's great Italian. There's great
Yes.
Chinese. There's all this wonderful food. Salt Lake's an awesome place to live.
Yes.
Wonderful access to wilderness.
Yes.
But one of the things that's interesting, when you grow up in a place as homogenous
Mhm.
as Salt Lake City,
Yes.
Mormon country, generally one of 2 things happens. You either become a Mormon,
Right.
or you become very serious about your own tradition, right? If you're an Orthodox Christian, you take it seriously. If you're Jewish, you take it seriously. If you're a Catholic, you take it seriously. You know, because there's no middle ground, really, so to speak.
Right, that's interesting.
Yeah, really, really interesting. But I loved growing up in Salt Lake City, and what happened in Utah actually is that there was the first cross-continental railroad. Because of the Rockies, the westward construction or the eastward, from the west to the east. So the eastward construction of the railroad went a lot slower than the westward, because the westward was going through the plains and all that flat.
And the mountains make it.
And so where they had a race from the west coast and from the east coast, who could lay down the most.
Yes.
And where it met was in Utah.
Interesting.
They call that the Golden Spike.
Okay.
So that spot, Salt Lake City, became one of the major hubs of that major expansion. So a whole lot of immigrants, Greeks, Asians, Italians.
Yes.
Gravitated towards Utah. One of the reasons was because of the railroad.
That's
railroad
very
work.
interesting. Very interesting. So I was speaking there for the LDS community for Martin Luther King Day, because their community was very active in religious freedom, as yours was.
Yep.
And they showed me the mountains. But what they would do is they would go to their office from 9 to 12, and they would have their skis in their car, and they'd go up to where's the famous film place?
Sundance.
Sundance, and they'd ski and they'd come back. Did you ski a lot?
I skied a lot as a kid.
Okay.
And then when I was in my 20s, I didn't ski at all. And then my kids wanted to learn how to ski, so I taught them. And I really rediscovered my love for skiing. So I like to ski now, but I can't afford it. Because when I was a kid, it was cheap. When I was a kid, you'd ski and it was like a day pass was $15, and you could get a used pair of skis for $100, and ski your tail off all winter long.
Right.
Now they want like $150. So I do still ski, but not as often as I'd like to.
Are there places close to where we live here, or do you have to go up to the mountains?
You got to get to Vermont, or there's stuff that's close enough. I usually do a few days on the East Coast and a few days at home.
Okay, that's really cool. That's cool. So I just took the train to Burlington, Vermont. I just spoke at a commencement and got an honorary doctorate.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. But the train ride was so beautiful. I had not seen that countryside before.
It's really gorgeous.
Just really gorgeous, so going up there was just such a joy. But tell me what you and your family celebrate the Greek holidays, of course.
Correct.
But you also, with your parish and the whole community, have a lot of celebrations here out east.
Correct.
I've been to some of your festivals. So talk to us about the Greek festival. You have the Hellenic dancers.
Right.
And then I come to Blue Dream at the end of the summer. So please tell us about each of those, and if there's anything else significant.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the Greek festival is really, it's one of the, I don't want to toot our community's own horn.
But you can toot the horn.
It's one of the funnest family events on the East End. And it truly is a family event. There's stuff there for grown-ups, there's stuff there for seniors, there's stuff there for kids. Teenagers love it.
And so this might air, a different year, but it's always usually the weekend after the 4th of July?
Correct. So this year it's July 10 through 13.
And that's for 2025.
The food is the headliner.
Yeah.
Because Greek food is so unique. It's so amazing. And I will say that at our festival, the food is authentic and it really is home cooked.
Yes.
We don't bring stuff in from the diners.
Yes.
We don't buy stuff from food supply houses. Ingredients, yes, but these are family recipes handed down generation for generation, cooked by volunteers in our kitchen.
Wow.
And served to the public. And the food is delicious. And there aren't many places on the East End where you can get real authentic Greek food.
That's
true.
That's true.
It's so good. The food's amazing. We have live Greek music, and musicians love Greek music, because it's such a unique sound and it's very danceable.
I was going to say, you dance at almost every occasion I've been to.
I like to dance.
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
so it's cultural, but it's also fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Yeah.
What's culture if it's not fun, right?
But because there are a lot of black churches historically that if you danced, it was considered worldly.
Oh,
but
right.
Dance is part of your culture, and so I love coming to your.
Well, and there are no real kind of like prohibitions of dancing in the Orthodox Church. There
Yeah.
are some kind of archaic rules about clergy not dancing, but I don't pay attention to
I
any of that.
understand.
I like to dance a lot,
Yes,
and
I do too.
I grew up. You know, Greek dance is so cool because it's both communal and
Yes.
prescriptive, but it's also there are times when it becomes improvisational and individual. So
And
you
intergenerational.
and intergenerational is the biggest part of it, right?
Yeah.
I listen to my kids' music. I'm like, what are they listening to? I try to get them to listen to like Bob Dylan or
Right.
Bruce Springsteen, and they're like, what is? Not really. We do like some
Yeah.
of the same music. I'm exaggerating, but when a Greek song comes on, whether
Everyone's
it's a
up.
contemporary song or an old rebetiko song from the
Yes.
50s that my father loved, the whole family wants to listen to it.
Yes.
And because my children have learned these traditional folk dances that I learned as a kid, and they're done in a communal way, you know, you usually hold hands or you lock
Yes.
arms, the steps are the same, the variations are the same, and
You
it
just get up.
wipes out gender.
Yes.
It wipes out age.
It does.
It wipes out socioeconomic class.
That's right.
You're just in it.
And you just
You know,
pop
you're
up.
in it and you're in it together, and it's so much fun.
It reminds me because I grew up in a home. I grew up in a very intergenerational environment. We said it takes a village, and so I'm from what they call the Boogie Down Bronx. So
Oh,
we used
wow,
to
look
have
at that.
little house parties. You know,
Uh-huh.
as everybody got their new home, we had house parties. And as soon as the soul music would come on, it was like my father, my daughters,
best.
everybody would dance together. And so it reminds me when I come to your events, like this is really we're rooted.
Music, it's funny how it's like I really consider it kind of a mystery of God.
Yeah,
The way that not just Greek music or not just soul music, when two people or when a group of people hear a tune, it creates a bond between us.
Yes.
It
From the beat to the bond.
there's something
Yeah.
inarticulate but undeniable about how music creates community and
Yes.
establishes relationship and allows people to kind of be in awe of the world together.
Very
you
much
know?
so.
So much
now,
fun.
I was at the dedication of your church when
that's right.
and
When
I
we
saw
opened
this
the
beautiful
doors.
marble came in from all over the
Yep,
world,
yep.
and it's just so gorgeous. I was there on the first Sunday. But you also, it transforms in August when I come for the Blue Dream.
That's right.
And was it your sister-in-law who started it with Father Alex?
Yeah, so Father Alex, my sister-in-law Olga, and really our
Yes.
whole church community got
Yes.
together. And we used to have this tired old church dinner dance, and
Yeah.
we'd try to raise a few bucks for the ministries, and it was such a chore for people to go. And my sister-in-law and I were talking, and she had a stroke of genius. She said to me, "Wait a second, we're trying to raise money for the church, and churches are wonderful, but funding a church is tough, and you're always like, you're always asking the same people."
Sure.
And my sister-in-law said to me, "There are all these worthy causes out there. What if as a church, rather than just trying to like nickel and dime people and raise money for our church,
Yes.
what if we picked a cause every year and we raised money for a cause?" And so we partnered with a bunch of different charities.
Yes.
Last year we raised about $200,000 to help build the Ronald McDonald House. It'll be the first Ronald McDonald House in Suffolk County, which we're so excited about.
I was at that.
We partnered with Warrior Fighter Sports who do prosthetics and things for injured vets.
Yes.
We partnered with the Lonely Well Foundation, that's an environmental group. We've partnered with so many
Odyssey
groups
House
over the
with
years.
drugs and
Odyssey, that's right.
Yeah.
And so what we try to do, is we try to pick a worthy partner. And, we have table sponsorships and people donate and we have single ticket sales. And then we split the money. So we take 70% of the money and we give it to the partner charity.
Yes.
And then we're able to hold on to 30% to help fund our ministry so that
Yes.
we can, as a priest, I visit people in the hospital.
Exactly.
I do baptisms, I do weddings. We have youth ministry programs. So
you can keep the
it helps
ongoing
us fund
ministry.
our ministries,
Sure.
but even more than that, it allows us to go beyond ourselves. Because what did Christ say? Christ said, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world but forfeits his soul?
Yes,
right?
So you're blessed
And so
in order
here
to be a blessing.
we're able to raise this money and have a real impact in the broader communion.
Exactly.
Regardless of religious affiliation, regardless of race, regardless of anything, we just give the money to help people.
Exactly.
And that empowers us also
Exactly.
to take care of our own congregation.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Now, the funny thing though is, interestingly, this year we're not going to do Blue Dream.
You're not.
We're not, because we have a profound and a deep honor in the United States this year.
Mhm.
And it was just announced. His All Holiness Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew has been awarded the Templeton Prize.
Oh my gosh, I know that's the prize
Huge,
of
right?
life.
See, the Patriarch has done
Say that one more time. It's the Templeton
it's the
Prize.
Templeton Prize.
That is the major
It
prize.
is the major prize, right?
Of religious life, yes.
So His All Holiness Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew is known as the Green Patriarch.
Yes.
He was the first global religious leader to come out and say, not only to say, hey, we need to do something about the environmental crisis, but to say the abuse of the planet is a sin against God.
Yes.
When God gave Adam and Eve dominion over the fish and the air and the seas, He didn't give them dominion to dominate and exploit. He gave them responsibility as stewards. And
exactly.
Ecumenical Patriarch was the first global religious leader to come out and say that in contemporary terms. So they call him the Green Patriarch.
Yes.
You know,
I love that.
He's done probably more than anyone. And he had predecessors, Patriarch Athenagoras and Pope Pius, who worked so hard to bring the Orthodox and the Catholic churches closer together. But he's worked tirelessly throughout his entire tenure to improve dialogue, to improve relations, to bring our churches closer together.
Yes, he has.
You know,
so where will the award be awarded or
I
given?
don't know the answer to that question yet. I'm not even sure that has been announced yet.
Okay,
But we do know that he's coming to the United States.
Okay, great.
And you know, Father Alex, who's so instrumental in our parish and so instrumental in Blue Dream.
And he's called a vicar, right? Father Alex is...
He was the general vicar of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America.
Okay.
He's retired from that post.
Okay.
He turned 80 years old this year.
Oh my goodness.
So he still does a lot of work in ministry within the Archdiocese.
Sure,
but he let go of the title Vicar General.
Okay, please give him my regards.
I will for sure.
Yeah.
I will for sure. So, but you know, Father Alex has been asked and has taken on the responsibility of arranging all the logistics for His All Holiness's trip to the States.
Okay.
To do that, to pull up, it's too much.
It's a
so
lot.
we're taking a year off with Blue Dream.
Okay. Well, I'll just plan to
Blue Dream should be back in 2026.
Okay, I'll be here too. Hopefully, prayerfully, we'll both here. Be God willing,
right.
you know. But just to plan to see this show and the show that we do in July is also for the Global Black Women's Chamber of Commerce to plan and start new businesses by Black women, and particularly with the layoffs and the firings, it allows them to have an upstart. So we're a non-for-profit, and Women on the World Stage helps women faith leaders to kind of get on their feet and keep their parishes going. So just planting a seed for when you're looking for. I'm planting 2 seeds, but you know, but giving back is really what we're called to do. When we're blessed, we're in order to be a blessing.
That's right.
You know, and then someone else should pass it on.
In the Orthodox Christian wedding service, and it's just in my mind because I did a wedding just a few days ago.
Yes.
There's this amazing little phrase in one of the prayers that you say for the couple, and it says, "May your home be filled with grain and wine and every good thing, so that you may please the Lord by helping those who are in need."
Wow.
Right? So when we have abundance, we have a responsibility.
We do.
And I think that's one of the things that's really wrong with culture today.
We're stingy and greedy.
We think that abundance is about me.
Right.
I have abundance so I can have abundance and just not have to worry and not have to suffer and not have to go through anything.
I call it the bling culture.
Yeah,
they want to have everything but give nothing.
You know, and it's very, and that's why I really think that's why Jesus said it's more difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with having riches,
right?
But when we have abundance, we have a tendency to turn inward.
Yes.
And to become selfish.
Yes.
And you know, that's why, you know, the faith has all these checks against that. That's why we fast. That's why we pray. That's why we, you know, that's why we have these commitments to philanthropy, because at the end of the day, we're all in it together.
We really are. We really all
We're all in it together. And if we can't figure out how to give each other a hand up, give each other the benefit of the doubt, for the strong to help the weak, you know, all that, then we really have lost our way.
What's our meaning? What's our meaning?
We've really lost our way. It's so...
So, you know, I'm part of a historically African-American community out here, Sands, and they call it Historic Black Beachfront Community as well. But it would be wonderful to do some collaboration with the Greek Orthodox community at some point. You know, we have so much that's aligned and find our commonalities.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Did you know Reverend Dozier?
I did.
I loved Marvin Dozier so much.
Yes.
And I just remember when Reverend Dozier passed away, you know, what a loss that was for the whole East End community.
Yes, yes.
And Marvin and I used to go to breakfast every once in a while, me and Father Alex and Marvin and a few other guys. And we had certain common initiatives that we worked on together quietly. There wasn't a lot of fanfare, but we were always trying to help one another's communities
Exactly.
out. And so, I mean, we would love to pick that back up.
I'd love to, you know,
Yeah.
and I lead an organization called Black Women in Ministry, and we got a grant from the Lilly Endowment to help a generation mentor a new generation of women
How
who are
cool is
entering
that?
leadership. So talk to me about women in the Greek Orthodox Church in our last minute. What are the positions? I know Presbyter Xanthi.
Yep.
Presbytera, is that pronounced right?
Presbytera, that's right. So presbytera is the Greek traditional word for the wife of a priest.
Okay.
So it's not really an official position in the
Okay.
church, but customarily, you know, it's funny because Father Alex always talks about how his ministry is a shared ministry and how he
Yes.
wouldn't be able to do anything without Presbytera. And Presbytera Xanthi is the one at our, I mean, I don't know that anybody who works harder for our church.
Oh, she's so
or
beautiful.
who does more. And my wife Anastasia labors for the church.
Yes.
Um,
Now, would she be called Presbytera as well?
she doesn't like the title, so
Okay.
she doesn't use it as much,
Okay.
but
Okay.
but it is there. But you know, the parish council president of our church
Yes.
is a woman named Adrian Northridge.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think I've met her actually.
Yeah, Adrian is awesome. The Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America has a group called the Philoptochos.
Yes,
and it's really the philanthropic arm of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, and there is a chapter in every parish, and
Well, I look forward to partnering with you and collaborating with you. And our last 20 seconds, because that's where we started.
Oh, my gosh.
Question in the White House was about women.
Yeah.
And so we close today with some wonderful women that I've met through you and who work
Right.
with you. But know that we want to collaborate with you. And I thank you so much for being my guest. And I thank you for sharing this time with us. Again, this is Live with Sujay, Headliners of Hope. Are you hopeful?
I am very hopeful.
Well, thank you. And so am I. Thank you.